We are a nation with a broken heart, but we were also a nation with open arms. And those arms wrap all of the people of Tumbler Ridge in love.
I know that nothing I can say will bring your children home. I know that no words from me or anyone can fill the silence in your homes.
My name is Nico Lagan, and I'm too conservative for the conservatives. My co-host, Rob Ambrose, not woke enough for the liberals. We are the political orphans. So both Pierre, Poilievre and Mark Carney were in Tumbler Ridge over the weekend for the horrific event that took place this week, where 9 people were left dead and 27 injured when a man with serious mental issues opened fire on not only his mother and stepbrother, but his schoolmates. We covered the story heavily this week, and there's not much development as we speak. And believe me, as soon as there is development, we will address it. But you can expect that very soon our liberal government is going to be pushing more gun bans using the tragedy that happened in Tumbler Ridge, because that's exactly what they did 5 years ago after the Nova Scotia massacre. But that being said, in all due respect to the families, in all due respect to what happened in Tumbler Ridge, I want to show you guys a picture, and I want you guys to tell me what are the first things, or the first thing that comes to mind when you see this picture right there. This is the picture of Pierre Poilievre and Mark Carney holding hands. Pierre Poilievre has his eyes closed. I will imagine that he is praying. So I'm giving a little descriptions for the people that are listening to the MP3. But what do you guys think when you see this? Rob, tell me what comes up to mind when you see that picture.
Well, I mean, it depends kind of what angle you're going at here. Like
you tell me.
Pretty,
what, your first impression.
Politics, I guess they're trying to. My first impression is it's fake. It's politicians doing political things, right? I try to give a little bit of benefit of a doubt because it's a tragedy, and I don't like to be cynical and just assume everything's just all fake and political. But do I think they actually were those real tears? I don't know. I find that difficult to believe. I think, as Misfit says here, stage for the media, I think, is probably a good descriptor of it. What's your take?
Funny. This is political theater 100%. Like I let me play this video to give a bit more of context. This is a video of Pierre Poilievre and Mark Carney arriving in Tumbler Ridge. So, as you can see, I'm not going to play the whole 2 or 3 minutes, but as you can see, they're very chummy. They both have flowers wrapped exactly the same way. So clearly they were handed those flowers. Those are not flowers that they brought there. And funny enough, I'm going to look for the picture, but Mark Carney and most of the mainstream media. Oh, there you go. I have it right here. Just to show you how much political... This is exactly how I see it. So Mark Carney, Pierre Poilievre took a nice picture holding hands and selling the idea, selling the unifying of Canada for Tumbler Ridge. Here is the picture of that Mark Carney actually posted. And as you see, the shadow on the left is covering Pierre Poilievre. So if you see the massive shadow at the bottom left, the top left, right here, if you see my mouse, this is Pierre Poilievre. So he's literally, he cropped him out of the picture. And I'm sorry, I don't want to laugh. I am not laughing at the event that took place because this is absurd. This is absolutely crazy. And I actually have a solution for what happened in Tumbler Ridge. This is something that I've spoken about a lot when I was creating content for the US, but stay tuned. I will share, we're going to do a deep dive in a solution that would take care of mass shootings. I proposed it years ago in the US. I spoke to some people in politics when I was in Arizona. They were trying to do it. Like, my idea is very a good idea. Like, I don't want to pat myself on the back too much, but it's something I put a lot of thought in. And this event is reminding me. No, but you'll see, and especially you.
Gonna strain your shoulder there, patting yourself on the back. So it's so much.
You know what? Maybe I'm gonna pat myself on the back so much that I'm gonna get myself a new hairpiece. So who knows, right? Who knows? But all to say. But yeah. I have a solution. I have a solution for this. Everywhere. Yeah, they just appear. But I have a solution. In all seriousness, I have a solution. And I'm happy that I'm recording with you because I believe you're going to have a very strong opinion on it. And I'm very curious to know what it is. But the whole point of me talking about this is when I saw the picture, man, when I saw this, I was like, talk about taking advantage of a really bad situation in order to score political points. This is what I saw when I saw this. And, you know, I posted that on my X and I literally did what I did here. I just said, hey guys, here's the picture. What's the first thing that comes to mind? I thought I would get a lot of hate for asking this because I'm kind of implying something. But you know what? Turns out that people are ruthless even more than I am. Well, maybe not more than I am, but in this post more. So this is what I posted. It's pretty much the same picture, just backed away a bit. And you start looking at the comments. Pure evil, the mob, Bill C4 killing her children. This one is the theater. Like, it goes on and on and on. Let's pretend that this had nothing to do with our policies on transitioning children, okay? One comment, a nation mourning, two sides of the same coin. I see Pierre Poilievre looking very uncomfortable with Carney holding his hands. There's some of them, man, that are absolutely hilarious, like, gay! But I just wanted to start the show, start the week with asking a simple question to our listeners and see what they actually believe, because I personally did not like that picture at all. It's fake as hell. It does not look authentic whatsoever. So I'm curious, you want to take some comments before we jump? Yeah, go ahead.
But I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah. And, yeah, no, I mean, I think that, yeah, of course it's not authentic. And I guess, I don't know. I guess maybe I am cynical about that in that regard, where I don't even expect politics to be cynical. I sort of just expect that to be politics as usual. You know, I can't really get too bent out of shape about it one way or the other. I care more about their policies. And you know, those are certainly worthy of criticism as well. I don't like those either. But yeah, we'll take a couple comments here. You know, Prairie says it's super cringe. I mean, it's absolutely that. It absolutely is cringe. I agree. Yeah, 100%. Why was woke Mary Simon and drunk Elizabeth May there? Where was this? Was this in Tumbler?
In Tumbler Ridge, Tumbler Ridge, BC. It was a vigil for Tumbler Ridge, BC. Yep. So it was definitely there.
Okay. All right. Will says, just a photo op. Poilievre stayed late to shed some guilt and try to pick up the votes this will cost. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is going to change anyone's politics. I don't think it's going to get too many votes one way or the other. Rusty Wiener says it's an insult to the families of the dead children using this for photo op. Now that I can get on board. I mean, I think that's a valid point too. like I said,
I would be pissed.
In some ways, I'm kind of, I guess, yeah, I've been kind of sort of numbed to this kind of sort of shameless political photo op stuff. I just expect it. But yeah, I think certainly if I had a dead child, I would probably be annoyed that, you know, you're choosing this moment, you know, my child's death to you know, for a political photo op. I don't like that at all. That's a good point, Rusty.
I don't like it. Like I said, it bothered me
Carney
when I saw it.
Carts,
I'm like, just cringed, just absolutely cringed when I saw it. I saw it on my feed, and I'm like, could you be any? Politics is fake enough. It's fake enough as it is. We don't need this.
Yeah.
So it's either two things. It's either two things, right? They are very good friends behind closed doors, because I don't know if you've seen those videos, but there are multiple videos of them having shooting this shit, like we saw Stephen Harper and Justin Trudeau when the new ministers were sworn in. Same thing as Trump, Obama. You saw a bunch of videos with them. They're messing around with each other. Biden obviously doesn't work because he doesn't even remember who he is. But it's all theater for the masses. It's bread and circuses for the masses. I just wonder if it ever helps. Like, as a politician, does that help you or does that hurt you? Because if it was me, if I was one of the parents that my kids either got, and I hate to say it, but they got shot, or even my kids were at that school, but luckily they're okay, I'd be mad at this. Like, what are you taking us for? Because they're not addressing the real problems. They're not addressing the issue at hand, that we have a youth that is filled with SSRIs. This is not a small portion of teenagers that in our youth that take this. There's a lot of kids and adults that are on SSRIs now. It's not a small minority of people anymore. And we're not addressing that. We're not addressing that they had all the red flags in the world, that the RCMP knew who that guy was. Their firearms were removed and then given back. As per a family member, at least as per what the Globe and Mail posted in an article this week, after speaking to an unidentified family member, because they didn't want to get in trouble for what they said. But they gave back the weapons a month ago. A month before the shooting, when they had been seized for about 2 years.
Oh, really?
But
that was recent. I didn't realize that.
We talked about it.
I thought that was like a couple of years.
No. They took the guns somewhere in 2024 and they gave them back 1 month after that family member.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Before the shooting. That is a massive problem. But they're not addressing the RCMP. They're not addressing the actual issue. But they're there for photo ops. That's what drives me absolutely nuts.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's a good comment here from Connie Urquhart. She says, I watched it. I thought it was strange that Carney wasn't holding his wife's hand. It was strange to me. Yeah, that was strange. That's very strange. That's a good point too. And you know, I guess I didn't really like when I first saw this, I was kind of like, yeah. Like
holding the hand of a man, either his wife or Pierre Poilievre, is the same, right? Is there a difference?
Yeah. Man hands.
A man hand.
On either side.
There's somebody that posted on my post that said, he commented on my post and said, why didn't they put the woman in the middle? There was clearly a woman on the left of Mark Carney that was holding his hand. Why didn't they put him or her in the middle? Just saying.
Is he calling Pierre a woman?
No. All he was saying is it's, and I'm not saying I necessarily agree or disagree. No, but there was a there was a woman. Look, there's a woman on the side, on the right, that's holding Mark Carney's hand. So why didn't they just put her in the middle? But you're talking to a guy that's done Brazilian jiu-jitsu for years, that did martial arts. I'm used to sweaty men hugging sweaty men, so that to me is not gay at all. But hey,
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Well, especially your teenage years down at the
Oh
club.
no, I was an adult, bro. Oh no, I was fighting until I was 40, until I was 33, 34. Yeah, about 34. So no, I was an adult. And I'm French.
You were fighting
just saying.
Fighting off the gays. Or not
Fighting
even.
up. Oh, I wasn't fighting them
Fighting
off.
off.
I don't fight gays.
Yeah,
but
exactly right.
But all to say, that
you just let him. You just accept it.
It just looks
one way or the other.
It just looks fake. At the end of the day, that's the point, right?
Yeah,
it just looks fake.
Sure. I mean, when I first saw it, I was kind of like, yeah, I don't really get the big deal about it. This is politics. Politicians do stuff like this, but yeah, I agree. It's definitely distasteful to do these sorts of photo ops at a memorial for these dead children. I think if you do it in a political setting, yeah, it's still annoying. It's still cringe, but it is what it is. It's just how politics is done these days. But yeah, to do it at something like this, at a serious event where there's people grieving, it's not a good look. It strikes the wrong note for sure.
I agree. Oh, Misfit. Hey, brother, I haven't seen you in a while. Misfit says, and I completely agree with him. That's one of the main rules in martial art. That is the number one rule of jiu-jitsu, bro. You cannot be on top of another dude and make eye contact because that's gay. But if you're not making eye contact, it's just jiu-jitsu. Yeah. It's fine. No problem.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Those are the rules.
Those are the rules. I don't make them. I just respect them. I don't make them. That being said, we will go to the next topic, but before we do, you don't even know that, but I tried in the past to build a community for the political orphans. I've been spending, but it didn't work out. I didn't have the right vision, but I spent a lot of my weekend building something new just for the political orphan, a private community of critical thinking Canadians who reject political tribalism and want civil discourse, not a fan club, not an echo chamber, but real debate, where we're gonna have some exclusive weekly lives. So be ready for some high-end interviews, some high-end guests that will not be shown anywhere else than in that community. We want to allow you guys, the members, to not only continue the conversation that we start here so that you're able to have it for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but also help us shape the show by proposing some news that we should cover, by proposing guests that we should have on the show. I'm not done creating it. It hasn't been opened yet, but it will be very soon. I just wanted to take the pulse of the people out there. I'm thinking school. I'm thinking because it is so simple. Because I had tried to do it over Discourse. It's not super user-friendly. It's not pleasant to use. Yep. So I'm going to be setting it up tomorrow probably, so hopefully by the end of the week it's there. But I was curious to know from our listeners, are you guys interested? Is that something that you would join? So comment yes in the comment section if you would be interested, because the first 20 people, 30 people that join, I would want them to be the original political orphans, the people that have been in the comment section, because I really want this to be a place for debate, but it needs to be polite. I will not tolerate personal insults. I'm not going to tolerate people bashing each other. Like, the whole point is to do what you and I do every day and with the comment section, right? So I'm just curious if that's something that people are interested in. Because the first members matter. The first 20, 30 members will matter. It will not be on Discord. Chances are it's going to be on School. I've used School before. Very simple. Small app off your phone is very user friendly. School, yeah, it's created by Hermosa. Hormozy. I don't know if you know the guy, but he's SKOOL. It's one of the most premium platform to do that. So yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Like Wilf is saying, yes, I think that he would be interested. Oh, it's Trevor. People do not understand what it is to have a discussion without arguing. I don't have a problem with arguments. On the contrary, I won those debates. I won those hard conversations. What I will not tolerate is name calling. That's it. That's pretty much all I will find unacceptable is really if you start insulting other members, I'll just kick you out. That I have no time, no tolerance for that. But that's it. That's basically the only thing that I will not, that this platform will not accept. So, yeah. On that note,
that's a good
Yeah,
idea.
I'm almost done. Like all the framework is done. I just need to do the configuration. I've used School before. It's not very complicated. So hopefully I'll be done over the next 3-4 days. Hopefully by the end of the week it's done. But the next topic I want to talk about is solutions, because we've seen what happened in Tumbler Ridge. We see that our leaders are not doing anything about it. They're using the event as a photo op. They're not addressing the real problems that the RCMP could have prevented. But one of the things that I've put a lot of time thinking about, because I spent a lot of time in the US, I spent a lot of time creating content for Americans, and school shootings are a lot more common in the US than there are here. So one of the things earlier, I was just doing some research, and I'm not going to read the article or anything. I'm just trying to show you my train of thought here. But I was doing some research for this today, and I found this article in the National Post that is basically, I'm just going to bring it up here, that is basically titled, where is it? Right here. So it's basically titled, "The Anxiety That Goes with Heightened Security, School Security Measures." So basically they talk about how it can make a lot of kids uncomfortable to have more security measures in schools. So it made me think about what I had proposed in the past. And this is a solution that really blows my mind that it hasn't been implemented anywhere, because I thought about it, and I'm not a political science major or anything. It's just something that I thought of that just makes sense. And my solution is simple, and I'll break it down for you why it works. And the fact that you are a veteran is such a great opportunity for us to speak about it. But my idea that I came up with probably 3-4 years ago is hire veterans as security guards and put them in every single school in Canada. You're literally speaking about men and women that served their country, that were ready to die for their country, that are trained to defend. Who's better than to protect our children? But at the end of the day, is it feasible or not? Does it make sense? I'm going to show you the numbers, and I think you're going to understand why it's such a great idea. So let me run through the numbers, and then I just want to throw the ball at you as a veteran to tell me what you think. I want to know what the audience think. But here are the numbers. If you combine all the schools in Canada, so any school, any teaching environments of any level, kindergarten, primary school, secondary school, trade school, colleges, university, name it, you're looking at about 18,500 schools. So for the sake of argument, let's call it 19,000. If you put one team of 2 person in every single school, you're talking about 38,000 people that you would require to put armed guards in every school. It's estimated that in Canada, as we speak, there is about 270,000 veterans between the age of 17 and 65. We have around 147,000 veterans in the prime of their working years between 25 to 54. 38,000 would represent 7% of the total number of veterans between 17 and 65, and 12% of the core working vets between 25 to 54. In the past, I've had pushback on this because the first critique of putting veterans in these type of jobs, not that a lot of vets do security work or they work for government people protecting them, but one of the things I always heard is PTSD. Well, it's estimated that in Canada there's 41,250 vets that receive disability benefit specifically for PTSD. So that's between 9 to 16% of vets, depending if you're talking 17 to 65 or 25 to 54. But if you look at the 228,000 vets that are between the age of 17 to 65 and 125,000 vets between 25 and 54, you're looking at 17% or 30%, depending on that group, that you would disqualify. That if you have PTSD, obviously you're not putting those people around guns and kids, obviously. But here's what's very interesting here. It's estimated that right now in Canada, that around 100,000 veterans are struggling to transition to civilian life, as in they are not finding the jobs that they want. They're not working in the jobs they want to work. They're underemployed. The numbers, if we dig further, 45,000 to 60,000 of our vets are underemployed. 32,000 to 37,000 are low income and struggling. And between 18,000 to 22,000 of our veterans are unemployed and actively looking for jobs. And if you look at the salaries for an armed security guard that would have the skills to be around children, like protecting children, you're looking from the low end to the high end, from $50,000 a year to $100,000 a year. That's the range of salaries. If you put 2 guards in every single school, you're looking at 38,000 individuals times 50,000. That is $1.9 billion a year, up to $3.6 billion a year. Mark Carney's given more money to Ukraine last year than it would cost to do this. So this is not a money issue. It can't be a money issue, because if we have money to support Zelensky, we definitely have money to protect our children. And, you know, I've had this discussion in the past with a lot of vets. And I've asked, because I've had some videos from a few years ago that went completely viral. Like, you're talking 500,000 views, 1 million views. And if you saw the amount of comments, man, that I got from vets in the US, they're like, bro, give me a fucking chance. Give me a chance to protect children again. So to me, it's a win-win solution. Kids are protected. Veterans have good paying jobs and they find purpose again. Plus, you would literally put an end to school mass shooting, because you know that those shooters are cowards and they're not going to run in a school where you have trained ex-military there to protect children. So that being said, I throw it to you as a vet. What do you think of my idea?
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea. To be honest, I think honestly the thing I like most about it is the giving vets, you know, a sense of meaning and purpose. I think, I mean, certainly in Canada, it isn't really a problem in the sense of there really aren't almost any school shootings. But I just, you know, I like the idea of putting vets back to work. I know a lot of guys who are retired, guys I served with who are retired, and as soon as they get out, their life just goes completely to shit. You know, they have no, their whole identity, their sense of self was wrapped up in their identity as a soldier, and when that's gone, you know, they don't know how to handle it, they don't know how to deal with it, and a lot of them turn to drink, a lot of them turn to drugs. Suicide rates are sky high, and especially if you're, you know, if you're putting in people who have served in combat, you know, maybe have PTSD or any number, or just have a hard time readjusting to civilian life. You know, I think a big part of that is this sense of they have this role, their idea of themselves as a, you know, a protector, and that's now gone. And I think that would be a great idea to just be a boon to the mental health of veterans. I know personally, I know people, at least 10, who I think would jump at the chance, and who I think would do them a world of good. You know, I think as far as being effective, yeah, I think probably would. I'm not sure. I don't think it would stop them all, because I don't think school shooters plan on getting out of that anyways. It's not like they most of them are killing themselves at the end of it. They expect to die. And so they'll, you know, I think that a person who was going to do that probably would do it anyways, but at least now, you know, the kids will have someone actually, you know, protecting them, so they'll have a fighting chance. I like the idea. If only to get, you know, some of the forgotten members of society, you know, give them a sense of meaning and purpose. And that alone, I think, is worth it.
And it's based on their skills. Like, it's not like it's new skills that they need to get. And those are good paying jobs, bro. Between 50 to 100 grand a year.
Exactly.
How many people do you know that would jump at the opportunity to do that, to make that type of salary and to serve your community? Because at the end of the day, this is the difference between vets and most of other people in society, is that they have a sense of service. They understand what it is to be doing something for others. And this, to me, man, it's the perfect type of people to put in those roles. And, you know, I'm going to push back when you said that this wouldn't probably stop the mass shootings. It would probably stop 95% of them, because they are on premise. If you look at the statistics, it's the time response that is extremely dangerous when it comes to mass shooters. It takes a long time for people to respond, for the police force to show up. Imagine that they're already on premise. That's the thing. You're literally cutting that to an instantaneous response. And that's the reason why I was saying they should be in teams of 2, not just 1. So if one's on break, there's still somebody actively working there. So I don't see any downfall to doing this. And if you put your kids in the school, as a parent, my kids are never going to be in those indoctrination centers, but let's say that you do, wouldn't you feel more at ease knowing that there's somebody there? Because I don't see the difference between an ex-veteran and a police officer, let's say, that would be there, right? It's just somebody that has security training that is there to protect your children. And chances are, man, the kids would love those guys and women that served, right? They want to help. To me, it's a win-win. Like, I love that idea. I find it very unfortunate that it's never... I've tried to propose it to politicians in the US when I was there. They never ran with it, unfortunately. Well, at least nothing ever came out of it. But I just don't understand why they don't do it. Like, both in Canada and the US, that would fix... That, to me, is like a perfect solution.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like the idea. I think I think that I mean, certainly, what are we doing now, right? Like, at this point, I'd be supportive of any solution, but I definitely like this one. And you know, I think it has multifaceted benefits.
Yep, 100%, man. It's an idea I would love to see implemented. That would make me really happy. I have a bunch of friends and people that I know that are vets. I have all the respect in the world for veterans. Literally, that I don't live a life of regret, but there's something I wish I would have done when I was younger. Instead of doing drugs and doing a lot of dumb shit that I did, it would have been to join the military. I wish I would have done, like, just 4-year tour, just to know what it is to have served my country, because I do believe in public service. I do believe that kids, before they, like teenagers, before they get access to university, they should have to serve. They should serve a year or 2, 6 months boot camp, so that they understand what it is to take orders, how to work a firearm, be part of a team, and then for the rest of the year, the rest of the 2 years, you serve your community. You know what? You pick up garbage, you fix the asphalt, you work in your municipality, your community, or you spend 2 years serving the military. But to me, public service should be required if you want to either start working after you're 17, 18, once you're done high school, or to go to university to understand what it is to serve others. What a great lesson that would be for people.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I like I definitely remember when I first heard about this idea, years ago, that was being proposed of mandatory service. I didn't like it. I thought it was important to have it as volunteer. But I don't know. The more I think about it, I actually think it'd be a great thing. Like I've got a 17-year-old son. I could just see how much it would benefit him and his friends to go and do something like that. The thing is kids, especially young men, young boys, they need a challenge. They need adventure. They need something that challenges them that is hard, right? Nothing's hard anymore. They need something that is hard, that they want to quit, but they don't, and they keep going, and they find that inner drive to push through and complete that task. And we've gotten away from that. It used to be, right, 50, 60, 70 years ago, just existing, you had that. You were working at the farm from when you were 6 years old at the family farm. You're up at 5 a.m. milking cows, working 18-hour days. You didn't need that. And that's, people developed character in that way. But these days, there's nothing in our public life that gives young people, especially young men, that challenge that I think is a crucial component towards developing young men into men. And I think that would do a great job of sort of bridging that gap and filling that hole that's left by just this extreme comfort that we've built into modern life.
I agree with you 1,000,000,000%. Like, how many times, I was a fuck up when I was young. I was bullied. I was a scrawny kid. And I discovered martial arts in my 20s. When I went back to school, I discovered the gym. And then I started going to martial art because I was tired of being a coward. Next thing you know, a couple of years later, I'm fighting in the ring, and I became North American amateur champion in Muay Thai at my weight class. So I went from being somebody that was bullied as a kid to kicking asses in the ring and teaching martial art. And the biggest lesson I've ever learned, man, is men were tough. If you put your mind to something, if you're surrounded by other animals, like guys that are training day in, day out. Remember, we had the Randy Turner on the show, which he was special forces in the Kinney. Yeah, and he was special forces. He was JTF2. He was an assaulter for JTF2 for 20 years. The guy is as badass as they come. Where do you think I met him? The first time we met, we were punching each other in the face. That's how I met him. He was literally, Randy was fighting as a professional fighter out of boredom. He's not going to say that because he's a very humble guy, but do you think that when you've done the type of missions that he's done, fighting is a big deal to you? It ain't. It's controlled anger. It's a sport in a cage that's supervised.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the same thing. So if you can't do military service, at least martial art, I'm happy I did martial arts because I did learn a lot of the lessons that seems to be passed through serving your country. But man, what a great lesson that would have been for me in my youth, man. I would have needed that lesson as a youth that was an alcoholic, a drug addict until my early 20s, man. I would have could have used that type of lesson, be put in an environment with grown men that would have forged me into a real man like martial art did for me. Fuck, man. I'm getting emotional talking about this. Nothing like talking about something that manly with tears in your eyes like a little bitch. Fuck.
Crying like a little.
I'm so tough.
Yeah, but I mean, like I was just saying, like people need, especially young people, young men, need a challenge. They need to do something hard. They need an obstacle and then to overcome it in order to develop as fully sort of self-actualized, adult men. And the way that challenge presents itself, there's a lot of ways it could happen. It could be military service. It could be, training in MMA. It could be training for a marathon. It could be, going out and living in the woods for a month or two. There's a million ways that life presents that challenge to you. And it isn't even the challenge that's important. What's important is finding that inner strength to overcome. There's always the moment when you want to quit, right? There's always that moment when you're like, fuck this shit, I'm done. And the people who are successful are the ones who find something inside themselves to overcome in that moment. And that is one of the most valuable life lessons that anyone can live. And you can't teach that in a book. You can't teach that in school.
No.
The only way to do it is to live it. And, and like I said, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, life was hard enough still that just existing, almost everyone had that experience. Nowadays, we've built such a cushy couple lives for ourselves that many people go their entire lives without ever facing the kind of adversity that builds true character. And I think, of course, there's lots of ways to do it, but certainly mandatory military service for 6 months or something, I think would go a long ways towards doing that.
And there's a comment I want to take from Vesperia Rose. She's saying that in Finland, the men all have to do military service at the age of 18 because Russia is next door. And I don't remember, I'd have to Google it, but there was a country during the Second World War. It's about the only country in Northern Europe that the Germans did not try to invade, because exactly for that reason, there was mandatory military service. And not only that, but it still goes on today, if I'm not mistaken. I just can't remember which country it is. But they basically have a free range day every year. So you serve your country, mandatory military service. They let you keep your firearms. And then once a year, they have free range day to make sure you still know how to operate, how to shoot your firearm. And to me, that's a no-brainer, man. Can you imagine you're trying to invade a country where every single male above the age of 18 have a gun, has ammunition, and knows how to kill you? That is not an easy feat right there. That is something that is going to be a hard task. That is like the perfect type of protection, right? If you know that every house out there, that there's probably every single house out there, there's a dude with a gun in it. I'd be curious to see how low the crime rate actually is.
Yeah.
So it's a no-brainer to me. It's absolutely a no-brainer. Yep. I can't remember if it's Finland, so Vesperia, if you know. Yeah, see, people are saying that it is Finland. That's what I thought. To me, it was either Finland or Switzerland. I just cannot remember which one it is. I'd have to do a bit of research.
I think Switzerland might have had. I think they might have had a compulsory service as well, even though they're a neutral country. They still. I think they did still have compulsory service, just probably for the same reason we were just talking about. Not even necessarily because they need it for the military protection, but just as a way to develop young men.
Well, see, there's a great comment here too. Carney is saying, isn't that why there's no fear of invasion in the U.S.? Everybody has a gun. Well, not everybody. I've traveled about 30 states in the U.S. But if you take Virginia, if you take the state of Virginia or Washington, if it's easier for you to imagine where it is, split it east to west. Everything below that mark, people have guns. Mark above that, a lot of people don't. It's more liberal states. But yes, if you're thinking Arizona, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, yeah, you're gonna get shot, bro. Tennessee, you can literally, I'm a big fan of knives. I have a bunch of knives. I have fighting knives. I have pocket knives. I have very expensive Japanese blade for cooking. Like, I'm a fan of knives. I'm a fan of guns. And in Tennessee, there's a place outside of Nashville where it was probably 30,000 square feet, 40,000 square feet. It was knives, tasers, and guns. That's it. You show up, you're just like, God damn, it's absolutely everywhere. And there's no permits to own a taser in the US. So literally anyone can walk in, buy a knife, buy a taser, and just leave. Just saying. So I'm not saying it's legal for a Canadian to do it when they're in the US. I'm just saying that you could. There's no laws around that, but
sorry,
yeah, the US, the south of the US is very cool for that.
Yeah. Look, it's pretty much what, no permits at all throughout the whole South. What about like Oregon?
I don't know,
because Oregon's pretty liberal, right?
you'd have to go. They still allow guns outside of major cities. Like, it's a state per state thing how restrictive they are. But
Okay.
if you look down south, it's just, man, I met someone. I was selling some stuff online when I was in Alabama. I met this guy in the parking lot of a Walmart near where we leave our RV. And bro, I step in the guy's car. He's a black guy, like a rapper. He has an AR-15 collapsed between his leg and his shifter. Like, loaded, it's right there. Optics, loaded. It's just the AR barrel is barely sticking out, so it's probably like a 10-inch barrel. It's barely outside of the frame. It was retracted. It was probably, man, I would say 2.5 feet long, maybe. And we're talking, he literally has a fully loaded AR-15 right there. People, okay. My buddy that I spend a lot of time with when I'm in Alabama is a big guy. He's like 6'4", probably 300 pounds. Imagine a redneck. That's him. He's from fucking Alabama. So he's a redneck. He's like, hey, man, you want to come to my house on Saturday? We're going to shoot guns. We're shooting guns in his backyard. He's like, oh, I went to talk to my neighbor. I'm just letting him know. I let him know not to worry about the gunshots. It's fine. We set up a little target in his backyard, and we're shooting an extra long magazine out of his Glock. Like, literally, the mag is 3 times the length of the gun. I'm exaggerating a bit, but we're shooting guns in his backyard like nothing. Just pow, 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 right there. Nobody cares. It's a very different world out there, man. Very different.
Was he like out in the sticks, or is he in the suburbs, or?
He's not quite in the. No. He's not in the city. He's outside of a smaller town. Like, there's probably 50, maybe 20 to 50,000 people in that town, and he's a bit outside of it. But he has neighbors. Like, you can literally see. You're shooting guns, and you can look at the neighbor that's over there. It's just, people know how to shoot their guns. They know how to operate their guns, and they don't have to worry about that stuff down there.
Yeah.
So it's a very different world, but I like the South, man. I would live in Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Texas. I love Arizona. People absolutely hate it because it's warm as shit, but I like Arizona. So all those states, man, the 10 states that are at the bottom, oh, bro. It's such a night and day difference. And people are a lot more polite than in Canada, man. I don't know why Canadians are recognized as being polite individuals, because I got to tell you, man, they're way nicer down south than they are here.
Image of being
I don't know why. I don't know where it comes from. Yeah, like, I'll give you a perfect example.
The image of being super polite.
Yep. I'll give you an example, man. I'm sitting in my truck. I'm in traffic. There's a guy in the car right next to me. It's super nice outside. All the windows are down. It's a beautiful day. I'm in redneck Alabama. We're stuck at a light. There's traffic, and I'm just gazing out of my window, but I'm not paying attention. I'm in my head. I'm just thinking, but it just turns out that I'm staring at this big black dude in the car next to me. You know that in Canada, if I looked at somebody the way I was looking at him, there would have been some comments. Something would have been said. There's a finger that would have been given. The guy looks at me. He's like, how you doing, bro? Super nice guy. But this is the type of stuff that happens all the time. You know why, man? Is because you don't know who has guns. Exactly. You know the expression that a polite society, an armed society is a polite society? That's it. When you're down south, bro, you don't know who you're fucking with because everybody has firearms. Everybody. Everybody's carrying, and they know how to use their guns, man. So I like the South. I like the South.
You don't go into you get in a fender bender. You don't get out and go storm up to the guy's car if you get in a fender bender, because
nope.
You just don't do that. You don't know what's coming back your way.
No, that could be seen as assault, and most of those guys are trained, right? Most of those guys, and again, where are most of the vets ex-military residing? South of the U.S. Most of the men that joins the military are from southern states. So you really don't know who you're fucking with in the U.S., especially down south. So be polite. So we are.
Absolutely.
How much time do we got? Like 9 minutes.
Coming right up at
9 minutes.
8 p.m. here.
I got but since you're always late, we have about 9 minutes left. I wanted to approach one more topic. Yes. Yeah, of course you are. You're a fucking liberal. Of course you're always late. That just goes with the territory, right? I wanted to approach one more subject. Something quick. Yep. But something quick, something that happened over the weekend. I got a small video that I put together just to give you an example, but it's estimated that over 350,000 people showed up to a Toronto rally in support of Iran over the weekend. I don't know if you've seen the videos. I put a few of them together. Check this out.
10,000 kilometers away from Tehran, hundreds of thousands of Iranian Canadians calling for Trump to take action and topple the regime.
Demonstrators marched down Yonge Street draped in red, white, and green, emblazoned with a golden lion, the flag Iran used before the Islamic Republic came to power in 1979, toppling.
So it's estimated that there was over 350,000 people at that rally over the weekend. And of course, I did some research. I have some numbers here because it kind of blows my mind. Those type of rallies absolutely blows my mind, and here's why. It's estimated that there's around 300,000 Iranians living in Canada right now. Around 130,000 to 150,000 live in the GTA area where the protest took place. Yet there was over 350,000 people. So you can estimate that there was at least 100,000 people, if not more, that were just Canadians that showed up for the rally, which is a great thing, right? Because what's happening in Iran is absolutely atrocious. Like, last numbers I saw were like somewhere between 30 to 90,000 people have been killed, like assassinated, murdered by their regime. It's absolutely insane, the numbers that are coming out of Iran. But what blows my mind is the biggest protest that took place in Montreal during the COVID lockdowns were about 100,000 people. I was there. Then the Freedom Convoy, they estimate that there were between 8,000 to 18,000 people that showed up on the first weekend with roughly around 3,000 vehicles, including 18-wheelers and personal cars that just kind of took over the downtown area. It's low if you ask me, because again, I was there, I did go, so it's probably more than that. It's hard to gauge the size of people when they're so close stick together and you don't have an actual overview. But if those numbers are true, you're talking about 20 to 40 times more people showed up over the weekend to rally for what's going on in Iran. While in Canada, during the COVID lockdown, when our government literally went tyrannical, took her rights away, froze bank accounts, people like me lost their career for not taking the vaccine, barely anybody showed up compared to what happened over the weekend. And what I don't understand is this. You have people that showed up to a rally in order to support the people protesting in Iran, and I understand why. But I don't get why they're not realizing that the same things that produce the country of Iran are happening here, as in our government is literally passing surveillance and censorship bill C2, C8, C9, C12, C16, soon a new C63 on top of a gun ban, but yet Canadians are not waking up. Because 350,000 people, that is a boatload of people. And those are the numbers from mainstream media. So for all you know, it's way more than that. It just blows my mind that people show up to those rallies, but don't show up to the Canada First rally, for example, that are in the same fucking area, but they don't show up for the Canada First rally, but they show up for that. Like, what is it going to take for the average Canadian to wake up as to what the government's doing to us right now, or trying to do to us, or has done to us during COVID?
What I don't understand is when did the Iran issue become a political split? Like, when did it become a right-wing position to want to topple the Iranian Islamic regime and a left-wing position to not want to topple it? I thought until very recently it was consensus across the board that the Islamic Republic of Iran, the regime there, was basically evil and needed to be removed. If not, maybe not actively removed, but like certainly it would be a good thing if they were gone. And now, you see a large chunk of the left just seems to be all of a sudden supportive of Iran, and it's really unusual, and I'm not sure where it comes from. I suspect it's coming from they hate Israel so much. Israel and Iran are enemies, so they think, well, if Iran hates Israel and Israel hates Iran, then I'm for Iran, and I think that's where it comes from. But that's idiotic, right? That's an idiotic reason to support a murderous regime, especially because everything about the Iranian regime is against everything the left is supposed to stand for, right? The brutal crackdown on human and civil rights, brutal crackdown on women's rights, gay rights. Everything the left is supposed to stand for, they should be the ones, toppling the Iranian regime should be the left-wing position, but it's not, because they just hate Israel so much that if another country hates Israel, it doesn't matter what those countries do to their citizens, they will support it. And it's retarded as fuck.
But not only Israel, but the fact that Trump is in there, because one of the videos, like I just wanted to show the size of the crowds there. But if the first video I showed, there's a woman that's interviewed afterwards, and she's from Iran, and she wants Trump to help them. She wants Trump to get involved. So no doubt in my mind that TDS is so strong that people are going to say, oh yeah, the Iranian
that's why.
Exactly, because Trump is now going to get involved, or is involved.
I don't think I support,
depending how you want to call it,
military intervention to topple the regime. I don't necessarily want to get the military involved. I think they should support it other ways, but not send troops.
The point I was trying to make, though, is that how involved people are into a conflict that is happening overseas, that it's not even happening here in Canada, Yet we have a government that went full-on tyrannical during the convoy. We have a government that's trying to censor us, to pass surveillance bills that are trying to take our guns away. And people are just like, yeah, okay, cool. They don't show up for that. They don't show up for the Canada First protest that's just asking to stop mass immigration. But they don't show up for that. But they show up for something that's happening in the Middle East. That's what blows my mind. That is what blows my mind. I don't understand what is it going to take for Canadians to wake up, because clearly people are ready to protest, people are ready to rally. This proves it to you. Agree with it or not, it does not matter. There are Canadians that are ready to show up. They're there, and that rally is showing it. But what is it going to take for those same Canadians to realize that the same thing that happened in Iran is happening here as we speak? And we're just like, oh, yeah, okay, nothing's wrong here, everything's good. That's what blows my mind. That's why I wanted to talk about it. Before we go, Rob, we have to take... oh, yeah, go ahead, man.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to
say that yeah, I'm just going to take this comment as well. Sorry, just lagging a little bit there. Ed says, if that many numbers showed up for a pro-Canadian rally, they would be labeled Nazi if they were on TV at all. That's a good point.
That's fine. Thanks for the tip, by the way, sir. But you know what? This is part of it. I'm labeled a Nazi for creating content that speaks about what we spoke about today. So hey, it's very easy to be labeled something by woke individuals. If they can't argue with you, they call you names. That's how they work.
Yeah, that's right about that. Yeah, I mean, like I've been, I've been a liberal my whole life, and yet I get called a far right Nazi all the time by other liberals, just because I don't think women can have a penis or that men can give birth. But how dare you? As this guy here builds that in and says, you two are Nazis, and I guess he's like one of those retards who would call me a Nazi just because I don't think women can have a penis. There's it's just there's so much of that kind of lazy intellectual pseudo intellectual critique going around the internet. It's boring. Like, I'd rather hear someone actually make I like when people disagree with me, but make a real argument. Don't just fall into a intellectually lazy oh, you're just a Nazi because you don't agree, you don't believe the same things that I believe. And yeah, really, we're trying to make this show an antidote to that. Like we say all the time here, show your work. We encourage people to disagree with us. I love when people disagree with me. But don't just come and make lazy, do lazy name calling. Like, actually engage with the argument, show your work. I got all the time in the world for that kind of disagreement. And that's kind of the sort of culture we're trying to foster here in this show.
Well, hold on here. See, again, I'm just trying to load. I'm getting too many comments, so it keeps on going up. But here is a comment from Patrick Doyle saying, you USA wannabe, all you people are. Never do any of you take responsibility for legal guns being used to kill kids. This is why Pierre, aka Trump Jr., will never form a government in this country. Man, the mental laziness, it's impressive. I got to give you something. It's very impressive to put so much lazy writing in the same comment. Good job. Just that, you deserve recognition for that. Now, you USA wannabe, who said that I wanted to be Americans? There's not much difference between a Canadian and Americans. If you think that there's that much difference, maybe you should leave your house and actually travel. I've been to more than 30 states in the US, and I've been coast to coast in Canada. There's not much difference between a Canadian and an American. There's not. There's really, we have different accents, but that's about it. Outside of that, our culture are basically the same. Now, all you people are, never do you, any of you take responsibility for legal guns being used to kill kids. Okay, I'm a legal gun owner. Legal gun owners are not the one killing people. They're not. It's less than, the numbers I've seen are less than 4 or 3%. 90% of the guns used in crimes here in Canada comes from the US. They're legal guns. You're probably talking about Tumbler Ridge, how those guns should have never been in that household, and I completely agree with you. If you would follow the RCMP procedures, those guns should have never been back in that house. But they brought them back. And Patrick, that means you weren't here at the beginning of the show, so it's easy for you to complain. But the point in the matter is that those guns should have never been in the same house as a psychopath that is that young man. I will not use his name because I refuse to give him any type of recognition. But that was a young man that had been pumped full of medicine, SSRIs, for 6 years. This is a guy that has been brought to the hospital under the Health Act. They had the gun seized from that house 2 years ago, but somehow a woke judge gave it back to them. So the accountability does not fall on me as a gun owner. The responsibility falls on our government that did not respect their own procedures. This is where the problem lies, and that is what they're not talking about. And by the way, don't call Pierre Poilievre Trump Jr. Pierre Poilievre's a liberal. I would argue that Carney is as conservative as Pierre Poilievre is. I'm a real conservative, and Pierre Poilievre is a liberal. And by the way, Trump is not even a Republican. Trump is more middle ground. He's nowhere close to being a real conservative in the US. So, Patrick Doyle, lazy comment. Thanks for dropping it. Thanks for trying to insult me. At least I'll take it that it was forwarded to me. But at the end of the day, man, you need to prove your work, and unfortunately for you, that is all. I'm done. We can plug it right there, bro. We're 13 minutes over.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I can do this all day, man.
We'll end on that rant. We'll end on that rant there. All right, guys. We're gonna pin her there. Excellent show as always. Lots of engagements. Oh. Yeah, Trevor says, thanks, Patrick. We all needed that laugh.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick, we appreciate the comments. We'll always take them. But yeah, you got to bring your A game. You got to bring your A game in here, brother. You'll do it better if you engage with the argument itself. Then we'll actually engage constructively with you. But yeah, I mean, we've been doing this for just over a year now, so. We see those kind of comments, and we don't really have much patience for that kind of lazy, and any idiot can go out there and just say, just parrot the same ad hominem attacks that everyone else on the internet says, right? Basically, it's just like saying what someone else told you to say. It's lazy, and it's not. It's not going to fly here. But again, maybe go back to the drawing board on that one. And then come back when you get something better to show us up with. But other than that, folks,
we're here Sunday to Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're here, and we'll take your comment.
That's right. Yeah, and if you want to show, you can do so by becoming a member through YouTube. It's for the low price of $2.99 per month. You can also buy some coffee, which you will see in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, the QR code. And, of course, keep coming back. That's another way you can support the show. Keep coming back. Keep throwing those comments out there. Even Patrick, keep coming back. Just, maybe maybe step it up a little bit next time. And but we do appreciate the comments from everyone, even the haters. Other than that, folks, great start
Especially
to the
the
week.
haters.
Have a great rest We'll catch you tomorrow. Yeah, especially the haters and the losers. We'll catch you guys tomorrow night. Have a great night. Peace.
Peace.